What's up, guys? UFC Nashville just ended, and it was a honestly pretty great event in terms of the fights and finishes. There were very few decisions on the card, and we had 8 finishes, I think. Anyways, let's get into the card, but first, join my Tapology group. This can earn you money. I will go over to it now. It's going to be go to tapology.com/groups/2048. I'll put it in the description. I'll put it in the comments. You can earn my money like my friend did today. This guy named Donner. He won. It'll be 78, 79, however many subscribers I had when the event ended. Will be however much money he earns until it hits 100, and 100's the cap for now, until I can get my channel monetized. Anyways, join the group, make an account on Tapology first. You just have to follow the link, and then make an account, and then make your picks. All you have to do is come over to this area to make your picks. Anyways, moving to the card. We had a awesome main event from Derek Lewis, early stoppage. My cat's very talkative right now. We had a pretty early stoppage, although Teixeira was grabbing the fence in order to get up, so I do understand why Herzog did stop the fight, because he was still getting blasted while grabbing the fence, so he was cheating in order to get up. We did awesome on this card. We went 9 for 12 on the card. And what I feel like was a robbery as well. So I feel like I went 10 out of 12 on the card because I believe that Stephen Thompson completely won rounds number 2 and 3. I think it was very clear that he won those 2 rounds, but it is what it is. Anyways, moving to Derek Lewis versus Teixeira. Honestly, Taliesin just got hit by the big shots of Derek Lewis. I mean, it's kind of what I thought. A big, young heavyweight just not knowing how to use his body quite enough. My cat's over there mewing. A big, young heavyweight just not knowing how to use his body versus a older heavyweight who understands the game and is a veteran. This dude was in here way too early against a vet of the game like this. He should have been fighting like Walter Walker tonight, honestly. If I do a fights to make next, that's probably what I would pick for Teixeira. Derek Lewis looked great. I think he would have ended up getting the finish, but it was kind of close to the end of the round, so who knows if he would have survived. He gets a phone call from the president. Wow, Derek Lewis, you had a fantastic fight. Your power rivals my own, it seems. Derek Lewis is probably asking for a pardon so that he could fight on the White House card. I hope it happens. It seems like it could. Anyways, let's move to the co-main event and the robbery of the evening. Stephen Thompson getting robbed by Gabriel Bonfim and the judges. It is what it is. Stephen Thompson looked so good after round number 1. Bonfim clearly round number 1, he won that. He was landing my cat has the zoomies right now. He had landed the far better strikes in my opinion than Steven did in the first round. Got the grappling off. Just didn't really do too much else though afterward. Round number 2, he had some solid grappling moments, but he got cracked by Stephen Thompson. Almost finished. So he very clearly lost that round. Stephen Thompson won. And then, it's like the judges can't see. They don't score based on damage and hurting your opponent, because Stephen Thompson landed the only strikes of any relevance in the 3rd round, which was a big head kick that hurt Bonfim, and he somehow loses the 3rd round because Bonfim grappled him and kneed his thigh a little bit. This is bullshit in my opinion. I think it's a robbery. I don't think it's like this massive robbery because it was a close fight, but Stephen Thompson landed the far better strikes in the 3rd round. It is what it is. I feel like I got this pick right. I feel like I went 10 out of 12. This was another great underdog pick. I had a lot of good underdogs on this card. If you had followed my picks on the underdogs especially, you'd have done very well. And the methods of getting things right, I did very well tonight. Moving to Steve Garcia versus Calvin Kattar. We're back down in the featherweight division. Steve Garcia looks so good, and Calvin Kattar landed some very good counter shots in this fight. Garcia showed that he still has a chin. So did Kattar, though. Kattar got bombed on and landed some very clean shots of his own, though, right back. He got dropped once, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember right. Very good fight. I don't think that this was not fight of the night, but the fight before this was. So we'll get to that in a moment. But Steve Garcia had very good pressure. It was a massive problem for Kattar. He didn't wrestle or grapple as much as I thought he would, but he had so much success on the feet, he really just did not need to. Kattar did land some pretty big bombs on counter strikes, so I mean Garcia's got a fucking chin, man. And I love the way when there was a moment where Calvin Kattar clinched after Garcia dropped him. Calvin Kattar got back up, clinched him, and started pushing him against the cage, and you could see it. Garcia was so like frustrated and ready to get the finish. He was like, "Get the fuck off me! Like, I need you to get off me so that I can get this finish. I need to knock you out right now." And then after some time, he just stopped really pursuing it as much, but. Great performance by Steve Garcia. He looked really good. Calvin Kattar is old, but he had a good performance. He just really wasn't pulling the trigger, and that does happen a lot when these guys tend to get older. They stop pulling the trigger during these moments, but he at least was throwing counter shots, so I'm less on the cut Calvin Kattar, but this is like his 4th or 5th loss in a row, so I do understand if they cut him. Moving to the fight of the night, so this was Dana White's fight of the night. He paid these guys an extra $50K. Morgan Charrier versus Nate Landwehr. Nate Landwehr was winning this fight, man. He looked so good. I was rooting for him. I was so happy. He looked so good. I was rooting against my own pick. And then just late in the 3rd round, Charrier catches him clean and hurts him real bad. And just from that moment, he never let it go. But Nate the Train looks so good, man. He's such a dog. I hate seeing him go out like that, but Nate's dead. Like Nate died in this fight. And I hate laughing at it, but Nate died in this fight. I love Nate the Train, but I hope he gets to come back, take a little bit of time off again, and then let's not give him a dude with ridiculous knockout power. Let's give him maybe like a Shepe Mariscal. That would be an awesome fight, I think. Because Morgan Charrier handled him very well too, and yeah, just a very good fight. Fun. These dudes deserved more than $50K too, though, honestly. Moving to the heavyweight division, we had a very impressive win from Vitor Petrino, although who it was against makes it very unimpressive. He ends up latching up a submission against Austin Lane. It was so forgettable. I think it was a rear naked choke. Yeah. I didn't pay much attention for this fight, honestly. Once Petrino got him down, I kind of knew the fight was about to be over. Petrino did struggle. These guys need to learn a little earlier, and I'm glad Petrino did this because there was somebody else who didn't, and I can't remember who it was. We'll have to look a little bit down the card, and I'll probably get reminded. These guys need to learn that once their jiu-jitsu isn't working, you need to strike your opponent so that they'll open up so you can submit them. Vitor Petrino, thank God, realized at some point in the first round, oh, hey, I need to strike my opponent in order to submit him, like so that he'll open up. As soon as he started striking Austin Lane when he was in full mount, he panicked immediately. Gave up his back, if I'm not mistaken, or it was either that or an arm triangle. I can't remember at this point. It was either rear naked choke or arm triangle. But I remember it happened right off the panic from the ground and pound, and yeah, Vitor Petrino looked good, but I'd like to see him against a heavyweight that can win a fight other than against other guys who haven't been in, or can't win in the UFC. So like he only beat Rubelas to Spain. So I mean, let's give Vitor Petrino, you know, maybe give him Walter Walker. Honestly, I know they're both Brazilian, but hey, whatever, let them fight. Moving to the light heavyweight division with one of the most frustrating fights. Literally, I picked or Junior Tafa, and it just immediately backfired. Tuco Tacos immediately starts wrestling, and during this, I immediately screamed that Tafa's about to lose this fight. It was disheartening the second his fucking stupid ass hit the ground. He did have okay submission defense, but it's not like Takas's submissions were very threatening. There were multiple times where he had the arm triangle and did not take it. And yeah, he ends up getting an arm triangle, if I'm not mistaken. I think this was the arm triangle, and maybe the Petrino fight was a rear naked choke. I don't remember. It's kind of hard to mix it up. I mean, both, like, three of the guys in this picture should not be in the UFC, and they are. And that's a problem. Anyways, moving to the welterweight division, we have Chris Curtis versus Max Griffin. I thought Max Griffin might have won this fight. It was very close, although his evasive style probably didn't help him because he wasn't really landing the cleanest of shots. Chris Curtis got headbutted a couple times, was very complaining, as normal Chris Curtis kind of is. And he just wasn't doing quite enough, in my opinion. I picked him, but going into the decision, I was very nervous that he had lost the fight. When it came up a split decision, I was panicking that he had lost the fight. Let's not give Chris Curtis too much of a step up. Let's give him somebody like Michael Chiesa next. I think that's a handleable job for him as a slight step up in competition. Jake Matthews comes in and destroys Chidi Njokuani. I mean, this is what I was talking about when I said, dude, sometimes this guy just shows up and he's going to beat your fighter, like the dude you pick. Like, when Jake Matthews shows up, this dude's going to beat the other guy. I know that's a fucking statement, but, you know, like, genuinely, when Jake Matthews is a dude who's so good, he's so skilled, he has good levels of athleticism. Chidi Njokuani just beat Aleski dos Santos, and that's a very good fighter, especially in this division. That dude beat Sean Strickland. And Jake Matthews just no-diffed him. He just rolled through him like it was no problem. Very impressive finish. I'm highly impressed by Jake Matthews, but watch his next fight. He's going to be incredibly unimpressive against a guy who he probably should just beat. And it won't make sense. But it is what it is. He looked incredible in this fight. And, yeah, I was blown away by his performance. Really great performance. He's one of the guys who I thought should have got a performance bonus, but he didn't. It was Morgan Charrier, Nate Landwehr, Walter Walker, and Klein. And, yeah. I thought Jake Matthews definitely should have got one for sure. Moving to Eduardo Mora versus Lauren Murphy. Boring decision. It was one of the bad women's fights of the year, sadly. No really great moments. Don't really want to talk about it too much. Lauren Murphy retired. Thank God we got one more terrible women's fighter out of MMA. Moving on to the heavyweight division, we have Kennedy Nzechukwu getting submitted by Walter Walker. We called this, said it was going to be the same old technique. My Catzilla has joined us now. Yeah. Walter Walker heel hooks Kennedy Nzechukwu in the very first round. the takedown he went for right off the rip was just horrendous. He shot from me to the other side of the planet, it feels like. And it was a terrible takedown attempt, but he just bulldozed through into Chukwu and threw some big strikes on him, made him cover up, and then shot again, and didn't get the takedown if I don't remember right, or if I'm not remembering right, or if he did, Enzo Chukwu just got right back up, and then he pulled guard through and leg laced, and hit him with a heel hook, and Enzo Chukwu just showed that he has very little submission defense. All you had to do in that position was stand up, and put pressure down on your leg so that you didn't get heel hooked, but you chose to just sit there and get heel hooked. You're a terrible heavyweight. You've only beaten blobs, and you actually kind of struggled with Chris Barnett before the injury really settled in for him. Yeah. Walter Walker's not great, but he's better than these kind of guys. Give him Vitor Petrino, I guess, maybe. I don't know. Moving to Mike Davis versus Mitch Ramirez. Mike Davis, this was the fight with submission defense that I was talking about. I don't know where some of these other guys' submission defense was, but Mitch Ramirez showed solid submission defense very early in the first round. Mike Davis looked odd and slow while he was on the feet. It was very weird. He has this weird, awkward style that I just don't quite understand. He had some very good moments with knees, and ends up hurting Mitch Ramirez with a knee, and finishes him off with just a flurry of strikes against the cage. Very good performance from Mike Davis, although a weird performance. Very dominant, honestly, outside of the striking. Grappling looked really good. The flying knee, the knee in the middle of the first round, I think. Solid striking. It was just weird. Fatima Klein defeats Melissa Martinez by head kick KO. This was awesome. It was a TKO, but, I mean, still, great head kick by Klein. She looked really good, honestly. Peppered Melissa from range. She honestly just made her look like one of these Contender Series people that just do not belong in the UFC at all. Please make the UFC's Contender or the Dana White Contender Series year-long. Make them get at least 3 wins in the Contender Series to then get into the UFC. That way we have people who have actually earned their way in rather than just get knockouts. Please make it this way. Please. I beg you. That way we can get real contenders. Like, from the Contender Series instead of, like, random contenders. And, like, the guys that make it in are going to be good. The girls that make it in are going to be good. Anyways, that's it for the recap. I think that this was an overall really good card, although on paper it was not going to be all that great. There was a robbery in my opinion, but it is what it is. Like I said, it happens. Overall, we did fantastic on the card, even with the robbery. But like I said, if you guys followed my picks, you did pretty fucking good. Stay tuned for next week. We've got UFC 318, kind of a weak card outside of the main event and a couple other fights. Yeah, we'll have fun with it. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye. Join Tapology. You can make free money from me, I promise. I'll pay it out to you. I owe my friend money now. It'll be like $79, I think. Anyways, bye guys. Subscribe, like it, make the money more for Tapology if you want, and join the Tapology if you want to make the money. See you later.